Hello, welcome to my second tutorial on Abacus. In this video, I'm going to explain you how to do very basic addition and subtraction for kids. In the first video, I talked about the basics of Abacus. Let me quickly recap. The beads in the bottom are the earthly beads which have a value of 1, and the beads in the top are the heavenly beads with a value of 5. So all these beads are worth 1. These are worth 1 in the tens place, so that's 10. These are hundreds, etc. This is 5, this is 50, this is 500, etc. We also talked about representation. So if I want to represent 271, I need a 2 here, I need a 7 there, and a 1. So that's 271. All right, let's start with basic arithmetic. So let's say I want to do 3 plus 1. So I first put a 3, and then I add a 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. How about 5 plus 3? So first put a 5, and then to that I want to add a 3. So addition always moves beads towards the central bar. So 5 and a 3, so that's an 8. So I'm making this worksheet here so to help me with the process here. So we're going to work through these examples. So the next one I have is 13 plus 31. So I guess I first clear the abacus and I put a 13, which is a 1 and a 3, that's a 13. To that I want to add 31. So that's a 3 and a 1. So that's 44, 4 and 4. How about 32 minus 10? So let's put 32 here, 32. And then I need to add a 10, so which is 1 and 0. So I add nothing here, so you get 42. Finally, the last example, which is a 3-digit example. So I want 262 plus 131. So let's put 262 here. 262. 5 and a 1, that's a 6. 262 plus 131 I have. So I put a 1 here, and a 3 here, and a 1 here. So 131 is added. So let's see what we have here. We have 3 in the hundreds place, 9 here, and a 3. So 393. Okay. All right, so that is addition, basic addition. Of course, life is not always this simple, and we'll see that later in the next video. Now let's talk about simple subtraction. The first one I have is 3 minus 1. Always the first step is clearing the abacus. 3 minus 1. So put a 3, and then you want to subtract 1. And note that in addition, we were moving beads towards the central bar, and for subtraction, you move them away. So 3 minus 1. So take away 1. So you get a 2 there. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 2. So let's put an 8 first. So that's a 5 and a 3. And then you subtract 2. So take away 2. So what is that? So that's a 5 and a 1, which is a 6. 19. You want a 19 minus 4. So how do you put 19? So that's a 1 in the tens and a 9. So you put everything, 5 and 4. That's 19. 19 minus 4, which is very simple. You just slide those 4 beads back. So you're left with 1 here and a 5 here. So 19 minus 4 is 15. The last 2-digit example I have is 32 minus 21. So let's put 32. And then I want to subtract 21. So here is my 32. And then I want to subtract 21. So 2 and a 1. So you're left with 11. And the final example is a subtraction involving 3 digits. 378. Let's put 378 here. So that's a 3 and a 7 and an 8. 8 is 5 and a 3. 5 and a 3. To that, I want to subtract 263. So take away 2, and then take away 6, which is 5 and a 1, and finally take away 3. So how much is that? That is 115. And you can check directly by hand all these examples to see that you're getting the right answer. All right, so that is all simple addition and subtraction is. And note that I have chosen the examples so that we don't run into any of the subtleties which I'm going to illustrate in the next video. So there is no overflow in any bar in the examples. There is no borrowing, splitting and stuff like that. So the general addition involves some subtleties. Just to give you a simple example, let's say you want to do a 3 plus 2. So how do you do 3 plus 2 on Abacus? You do 3 here, and then you want to add 2 to it, but I don't have enough beads here. So what do you do? So this is where the first powerful tool of Abacus comes, and that is the idea of complementation. So the 3's complement is, well, you want to add 2, so the 2's complement is 3, so you subtract 3 and add 5. So the answer is 5. Yeah, we will talk more about these in the next video. Thank you.